Moza mbwena ukamtoreraso mwanakazi mnyaki niposangatura mwanakazi mnyaki yura wakwamba yura kumpwereraso chana vana vanyaki panyengo nyaki na vana vatatu vaviri mbwene mwana yura ngakhala uhangaika mbwene uwereraso kuvapapi pirikotazi vana mukaya muno vapapi bokhalaso na vana bofu batengwa wowereraso kumnyumba sono izo ni nkhaza zikulu chomene vana wopwerereka yayi vanarume vara mbwene ntchito yotora kwa vanakazi vananande otora uyu akumuleka akutora uyu mwanakazi wakuleka uyu akumuleka sono takhumbanga kuti boma ichitepo kanthu kuti vana awakutengwa sono muzinthengo nthengo zikukhala cha ipo vakubikeko vyokhwima vinthu nyake chokhwima chakuti nthengo azikhazikikenge mu nyumba umo kuti aliyonse alelenge vana vake sange panyi nthengo ayikumala mwana aleleke na nyina kulisha kuti mwana akaleleke na dada vana kupangika nkhaza zinani vanyake vana vakubatora wakachekesha mathabu vana maanda aged wakuta ukachepesa mathabu asangatondeka ukaruta afuma skulu afumika kunyumba chakula kulije sangana kuchekesha mathabu akwamba kumtimba sono nkhaza zinandi izi vadada vakupangira vana vapangiranso vauli vavo boma unepo kanthu pamalamulo ya nkhaza ya vamama valinepo kanthu chakuti vakhoze nthengwa ya vana vitu madazani nthengwa vokhala cha vanalume mbwene vamba wakakutora kavanakazi bweka mbwene waona kuti mbwene choseveresha ipo boma ipangira mulo yakuti nthengwa zikhole mkaya umu.
Greetings and welcome to our 7:30 news bulletin. My name is Bernard Mansa. But first, the headlines. Pope Francis defends St. John Paul II against offensive and unfounded accusations. Malawi's First Lady describes arts and skills as key for inclusivity and realization of Malawi 2063 agenda. And in other news, almost 100 died in Sudan fighting between army and paramilitary forces. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. After the recitation of the Regina Sherry on Sunday, Pope Francis spoke up about his predecessor, St. John Paul II, who in recent days has been at the center of slanderous accusations linked to the disappearance of 15-year-old Emanuela Orlandi 40 years ago. According to the Vatican News, what happened to Orlandi remains an enduring misery, especially in Italy, with numerous investigations by civil and church authorities. While conspiracy theories abound, very little definite information has been discovered. We have more in this Rome report.
After praying the Regina Caeli with pilgrims in St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis defended Pope St. John Paul II against unfounded allegations.
I am certain of interpreting the sentiments of the faithful throughout the world. I extend a grateful thought to the memory of St. John Paul II, who in these days has been the object of offensive and unfounded allegations.
The Pope is referring to the rumors concerning the kidnapping of a Vatican citizen, Emanuela Orlandi, who disappeared in 1983 at the age of 15. Pietro Orlandi, Emanuela's brother, shared the recording of a man potentially linked to a Roman mafia group on an Italian television program. The man accused Pope John Paul II of allegedly leaving the Vatican in the company of young girls. Last week, Pietro met with the Vatican's promoter of justice, Alessandro Didi, to speak about opening a new investigation into Emanuela's disappearance. The Vatican has responded to the accusations that this recording has prompted, saying there are no evidence or witnesses to support this claim. The Vatican promoter of justice stated that Pope Francis has expressed his desire for the truth to emerge without any reservations.
Collective efforts amongst teachers, parents and students has been touted as key towards quality education outcomes. The remarks were made over the weekend during a Parent-Teacher Association PTA MACE Awards ceremony for the 10 students of the 2021-2022 academic year at St. Maria Goretti Girls Secondary School of Lilongwe Archdiocese. It was noted that the biggest contributor towards the great results, of which the highest scorer got 12 points, was collective efforts as all three sides worked together towards the same goal. Tandiwe Mzumara has more in this report.
Organized by the Parent-Teacher Association of the school, the award ceremony was aimed at appreciating the school's first MSCE results, seeing as this was the first cohort. Representing fellow members of the PTA, Anastasia Manjoro attributed the outcome to the great role that all concerned parties, those being parents, teachers and students, have played, expressing hope that this is just a tip of the iceberg, as they are expecting only the best results every year.
We talk about education. It's a joint work. The teacher contributes, the parent contributes, and the student contributes as well. So together we have made it. So it's so important. Everyone has taken a hand in contributing to the success of our students.
Concurring with Manjoro was one of the parents whose daughter also received an award, Chimwemwe Chunga, who expressed satisfaction with the good results produced.
You know, when a new school is established, there are issues like maybe building new team for the staff and also trying to organize students who are starting for the first time, the pioneer students. So we feel very much delighted, and we expect, I think, more good results in the subsequent group that is following this group.
One of the students who received an award, Catherine Somani, praised the awards ceremony, expressing hope that it encourages incoming students and every girl child out there to work hard towards the best education outcome.
We shouldn't look down on ourselves. Let's actually aim high. Let's work hard. I know this is not the end. There is still more to come, but then let's just persevere for this moment. It's only 4 years and we can make it.
The 2021-2022 Malawi School Certificate Education exams saw St. Maria Goretti Girls Secondary School producing a 100% pass rate, with the highest student scooping 12 points. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Tandiwe Mzumara.
In a related development, school dropout and failure to hold an MACE certificate should not be a limiting factor for girls to obtain artisan skills in the country. This is according to First Lady Madam Monica Chagora, who expressed displeasure over performance of women pursuing apprentice courses. She was speaking in Longwe earlier today during the launch of a Misiri Paulendo program by skilled women artisans in Malawi. Robert Edward has more in this report.
A parade of courage to display possibilities of breaking the barriers in skilled artisanal ventures cemented the launch of the Misiri Paulendo project, championed by skilled women artisan in Malawi, SWAM. Ngwazi Zajikazi, as they call themselves. They are 120 in total, and according to a level 3 student studying plumbing, Mese Kamwendo, the program will counter challenges faced by women in a widely believed to be male-dominated artisanal courses in the country. Speaking during the launch, First Lady Monica Chagora encouraged SWAM to extend the gesture to girls who failed to obtain an MACE certificate and those who dropped out of school.
So if we're talking about higher education and staff, we're only talking about 15%. But that means 85% is out there. Maybe some didn't do that good in MCE or whatever, but when it comes to work that you do with your own hands. It depends on how you are wired.
In her remarks, SWAM founder Mary Mponda stresses that market and finance access with capacity building will be some of the areas of focus in the program.
The Misiri Paulendo program we are launching, the trainings that you are going to go through as women, that is leveraging on what they've gone through from the TVET programs, plus through their Misiri Paulendo skills development, a mentoring support that you get from the group, access to finances. There are a lot of resources and there are a lot of benefits.
According to Minister of Gender, Jean Sendeza, more women need to be part of the program in the country to achieve women and the country's economic growth. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Trust Psychosocial Support, an organization that focuses on enhancing mental health support activities in Malawi, has urged government and other stakeholders to consider providing psychological and mental support to people that have been affected by the devastating tropical cyclone Freddy. According to the director of Trust Psychosocial, Sylvia Namakwa, the affected have gone through traumatic events, and that if they are not fully and rightly supported, mental health issues including depression will be on the highest rate in the affected areas. She further said the crisis has had mental health consequences for communities, families and children, including frontline workers, and that they need support services including counseling, sensitization and advocacy. We have more in this report by Jacqueline Saidi.
Cyclone Freddy left a trail of death and destruction across southern Africa and has increased the health risks for many people in Malawi. The widespread flooding and torrential rains caused extensive destruction, exposing more than 1.4 million people to outbreaks of mental health, waterborne and other diseases in all the affected areas. Speaking in an interview with Luntha Television, Director of Trust Psychosocial Support, Sylvia Namakwa, said with the proximity to which the cyclone affected the public, especially the people in the southern region, there is need for provision of mental health support just as much as there is any other need for physical support. She emphasized that the loss at which these people have experienced, it is in the same line that it can result in a number of psychological challenges, including vast post-traumatic stress disorder and depression.
When we have natural disasters like this, just like any other disaster, whether it's accident, whether it's domestic violence, normally we rush to provide the physical things. They are important when we want to provide things like shelter, food, clothes. Those are important, basic human needs. But then we also need to pay attention to their psychological needs as well.
Commenting on the same issue, spokesperson for the Ministry of Health, Adrian Chikumbe, said even though government does not have the capacity to provide an each-for-one counselor, they are using the psychiatric nurses, which each district has, to help in that field. Chikumbe noted that these health workers are providing psychiatric and mental health services to make sure that the people living in different camps have the support they need.
Specifically for mental health issues, we know we are thin on the ground already, but we have mental health providers in each and every district. So it's our expectation that the people at district level, at council level, should be making arrangements to provide these services. You have at least one or two psychiatric nurses in each and every district. You have also psychiatric clinicians in all the districts.
The crisis has had mental health consequences for communities, families, and children, including frontline workers in the affected districts. It has also disrupted protection services and structures, including community-based childcare centers, and heightened protection risks, including gender-based violence and trafficking of women, adolescent girls, and children. Many families were separated during the floods and mudslides, leaving unaccompanied and separated children in multiple locations. For Luntha Television News, this is Jacqueline Saidi.
You are watching the news on Luntha Television and you are with me, Bernard Manza. Our top stories once more before we proceed. Pope Francis defends St. John Paul II against offensive and unfounded accusations. Malawi's First Lady describes arts and skills as key for inclusivity and realization of Malawi 2063 agenda. And in other news, almost 100 died in Sudan fighting between army and paramilitary forces. Moving on, the case of a 20-year-old girl who was allegedly forced to offer sex to buy affordable imports program AIP fertilizer at Mkanda SFFRFM depot in Mchinji has awoken a vague, with police launching an investigation into the matter. On the other hand, top human rights defenders in the country, Human Rights Defenders Coalition HRDC and Malawi Human Rights Commission MHRC say they are following with keen interest and thorough investigations will be made to establish the facts. The investigation follows a report that the girl had been complaining of having nightmares after a casual labor at Nkanda Smallholder Farmers Fertilizer Revolving Fund of Malawi depot asked her to sleep with him in order to buy a bag of NPK fertilizer. More in this report by Helbert Katanda.
National Police spokesperson Peter Galaya could not be reached for comment at press time yesterday, but last week he urged the girl to report to police so that they start investigating it. Luntha Television has, however, established that two managers from Smallholder Farmers Fertilizer Revolving Fund of Malawi went to Mkanda on a fact-finding mission on Tuesday. When contacted on Monday, Deputy National Police Publicist Harry Namaza referred us to Mchinji Police spokesperson Libani Mpinganjira, whose phone could not be reached by the time we went to press. But reacting to the development, HRDC senior official Michael Kayata said the coalition has received reports of such malpractices and the issues are under microscope.
Whether the allegation is true or not, because it's something that you have also heard through the media mostly, so we need to cross-check the facts and confirm whether this is true or not. So in this case, we are working with the Malawi Human Rights Commission, who have shown interest of investigating the matter. So if the Human Rights Commission proceeds with the investigation, we are going to wait for the outcome.
Malawi Human Rights Commission has also shown interest to probe the matter, but Smallholder Farmers Fertilizer Revolving Fund of Malawi has not yet responded to our questionnaire. Nkanda Coalition Women Farmers Chairperson Maides Nyalube is also on record as having confirmed the incident. It is alleged that hundreds of women have been bedded in exchange of AIP fertilizer, but numerous cases have gone unreported in Mchinji district. Nyalube said the organization received several reports of similar incidents during last year's agriculture season. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, I'm Helbert Katanda.
Water and Environmental Sanitation Network WASNET has urged the citizenry to install a culture of practicing hygiene to promote a positive environmental behavioral change in managing waste as a way of containing the further spread of cholera. WASNET Executive Director Willis Mwandira made the remarks when Minister of Water and Sanitation Abida Mir and her deputy Liana Kakobwe Chapota led April's cleanup exercise at Area 25 Health Center in Lilongwe. Mandira said this can, among other things, address problems associated with uncared for waste disposal, hence a call for everyone to change their mindset and start working towards ensuring that the environment is kept clean. Bridget Manoka has more in this report.
A directive was made by the State President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, on 11th November 2020 during the launch of the National Clean-Up Day that all institutions should be engaged in a clean-up exercise every second Friday of the month with the view to improve sanitation in the country. On Friday, the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Abida Mia, and her Deputy, Rihanna Kakubwe Chaboda, led a clean-up exercise at Area 25 Health Center in Lilongwe. Apart from joining the queue of mopping the maternity ward, the Minister also toured the facility to appreciate how it operates and challenges they are facing. In an interview, Mia urged Malawians to take a leading role in all activities associated with hygiene to promote sanitation.
Leading by example, according to our President, he started this clean-up exercise and we are following through with it just to ensure that the communities are also doing the same with regards to sanitation issues. We had this cholera outbreak, so we just wanted to show them what they're supposed to do, and if we as ministers are also doing it together, it will encourage everybody to also follow through in their homes as well.
WestNet Executive Director Willis Mandila stressed the need for coordination in helping improve sanitation and hygiene, saying it is the only guarantee to contain the further spread of cholera.
This initiative is very, very important because as a country we've been hit by several diseases that are as a result of poor sanitation. And since the State President initiated this program, we feel that as civil society organization, we are really committed to work with government on such initiatives so that in future we don't face problems of poor sanitation which lead to these diseases that are caused by poor sanitation.
Officials from Water and Sanitation Network, Lilongwe City Council, communities surrounding the health center, UNICEF, and other government agencies, among others, participated in the clean-up exercise. This is Bridget Manoka for Luntha News in Lilongwe.
Now in sports news, mighty Mukuru Wanderers on Sunday made a winning start to the 2023 TNM Super League. Wanderers beat Civil Service United of Lilongwe 2-0 at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre. They are tied on 3 points with second-placed Mafco FC from Salima, who beat Tipa United 2-1, and third-placed Mighty Tigers, another Blantyre side who registered a 1-0 win over Extreme FC from Mchinji. The Nomads took the lead after 27 minutes through Christopher Kumwembe, who punished his former team from a Meshet Bottman pass. 6 minutes later, the Nomads were 2 goals up with a fine finish from Meshek Bottman. Nomads coach Mark Harrison held his charges for the win.
I'm happy with the 3 points. I thought the performance was hot and cold. We started slowly, then we came into the game and dominated for the rest of the first half, got the 2 goals, and then second half I thought we dropped the pace a little bit again, got a little bit sloppy with our passing at times, but they never hurt us, so we kept a clean sheet, so I'm happy with the clean sheet, happy with the 3 points.
In other news, a doctors group in Sudan reported earlier Monday that the death toll for civilians caught up in the fighting between Sudan's military and paramilitary force has grown to at least 97, with 365 injured. Other reports say as many as 600 people have been injured. The fighting erupted Saturday between army units loyal to General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, head of Sudan's Transitional Governing Sovereign Council, and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF, led by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, deputy head of the council. The UN had announced a 3-hour ceasefire late Sunday afternoon between the two groups, yet residents told media that heavy explosions and continued gunfire as well as airstrikes pounding RSF targets could be heard Sunday night. We have more in this VOA report read by Charity Chilanga.
Every Sunday, heavy gunfire could be held in downtown Khartoum around Sudan's military headquarters and the presidential palace. Both the military and the RSF have claimed control of these strategic locations. The US and British foreign ministers have called for an immediate cessation of violence in Sudan and urged the opposing parties to return to talks. US Secretary of State Anton Blinken and his British counterpart James Cleverly made their statement at the sidelines of the G7 talks. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the fighting between Sudan's military and a paramilitary force that has killed the UN workers for the World Food Programme. The UN chief spokesman Stephen Dujarric said in a statement that Guterres has strongly condemned the deaths and injuries of civilians, including the death of 3 staff members of the World Food Programme in North Darfur, with a further 2 seriously injured, adding that those responsible should be brought to justice without delay.
That's all we had, and this has been Bernard Manza. But before we leave, a recap of our main stories. Pope Francis defends St. John Paul II against offensive and unfounded accusations. Malawi's First Lady describes arts and skills as key for inclusivity and realization of Malawi 2063 agenda. And in other news, almost 100 died in Sudan fighting between army and paramilitary forces. Thank you so much for watching, and wishing you the best of the watching the rest of our programs. Goodbye for now.